Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Welcome to episode 115 of the Old Mage MTG podcast with your hosts, Old Mage Steve and Old Mage Alex.
Yo.
Thank you so much for joining us. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Eladomri's Lawn and Garden Center. Nestled on the edge of Sky Shroud Forest, where the mulch is rich, the water is pure, and the leaves whisper in the breeze. Head out now for limited time specials on fall favorites like Lannerwall Tallgrass, Morrow's Mums, and Croson Kale. At Eladomri's Lawn and Garden Center, even the saplings are legendary. If you're not in the market for fall gardening supplies, you can support us in other ways. Remember to click our TCG Player affiliate link. We do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so every time you want to buy some cards from TCG Player, you can help us out. Just go to the description below our videos. Click that link. You get those cards you need for your next secret brew that you're planning on bringing to LobsterCon next year, and then we get a small percentage sent back to us from TCG Play. Also, big news, Alex, huge news. Maybe the biggest news since we've started the podcast. We officially have memberships available on our YouTube channel. We've been monetized. I think for every view, potentially, we may get 0.00001 cent. But then also, if you want to support us, you can join our channel, become a member for, I believe, $1.99 a month. What do we offer for memberships? Alex, did you come up with anything?
Nope.
We got nothing really at the moment, except for little cute wizard emojis. I made some little wizard emojis. I got one for every color in the color pie, except for black. Because you guys are doing evil black magic, and I don't support that. Until you change your ways, you're not getting a wizard emoji. That's not true. YouTube would only let me upload 4. I made
Oh,
all 5, one for each of the color pie. We can only upload 4 at the moment until we get a certain number of members, and then they increase the number of special custom emojis I'm allowed to upload.
ridiculous.
So if you're a black mage out there and you're upset that you can't have a black wizard emoji next to your name when you comment on our channel, you know what to do. I don't make the rules. It's YouTube's fault. I made like 25 different emojis. And then I went to upload them and they were like, nah. I wasted a whole Sunday. It's not wasted because I still have them for the future. Anyways, TCG Player affiliate link. Join the channel. Ella Domry's Lawn and Garden Center. That's enough shilling. It's time to talk MTG. Before I get into the main topic today, I wanted to mention some things I've been doing in Magic. I haven't been playing much Magic lately. I've been missing a lot of the local meetups. Work has been busy. We've got a couple new people. I'm training them. It's taking up a lot of time. I got other things going on in my life. What you say, don't worry about it. That's personal stuff. But it means I've had less time to play Magic lately. But I have been watching some YouTube. No matter how busy I am, I always have time to just sit on my ass and watch a little bit of YouTube sometimes. That's how I decompress. And there's this great channel. I might have mentioned this before briefly on the podcast. I don't even remember, but if I did, I'm mentioning it again. The Tranquil domain. It's mostly, he makes videos, but he does a lot of interviews. So like, Alex, when we started this podcast, we started going back to like famous decks from the 90s. We
hmm
played back then, but we weren't competitive. We weren't keeping up on the metas and going to tournaments and trying
Yeah.
to necessarily build the best decks and spike people. We just kind of played with what we had. But when we got back into it, we've been learning about all the great decks from that time. So we've done an episode learning about Miracle Grow. We want to do some Oath episodes where we learn about early Oath of Druid effects. There's Jamie Wakefield's Secret Force, Origins of Sly, History of the Rock. Well, the Tranquil Domain makes videos on all these decks. I don't know who the guy is that runs this channel, but he seems to have a relationship with a lot of these players from back in the day. So he doesn't just talk about the decks, he interviews these people. So you can learn about the history of the rock from the interview with Sol Malka. You can learn about Secret Force through this interview with Jamie Wakefield. So it's been really fun for me uh, to not only learn about the history of these decks, but to hear from the people themselves that invented them, what was going on around that time, how they came up with the decks, what the tournaments were like back in the day. He also has an ongoing feud with Mike Long, MTG supervillain Mike Long. So he's made some funny videos there. So, and I'm enjoying that as well.
I
So
see he
check.
has a Steve Urkel image for his
I
theme of
didn't
his
watch.
video.
Yeah, I didn't watch this one yet. This is all about Zvi,
It
I
has
guess.
Z in it,
Zvi
yeah.
Mousewitz. So I gotta watch that one. But that's the Tranquil Domain at the Tranquil Domain MTG on YouTube. And then I've also been buying a few cards, Alex. I got a few things that I picked up recently. I've been playing a lot of White Weenie, but there's more to White than just the weenies. You know, they got some they got some big beaters as well. So I've been trying to fill in some of the gaps in my pre-modern White collection. Picked up an Eternal Dragon, so
Oh, okay.
for White control. Picked a couple shared triumphs for some other clan decks that I'm going to be building. Trying to finish off my playset of Weathered Wayfarer. I got some three
Ah,
color decks that I'm fiddling around with. I think I might want to put these guys in just to help me fix my mana. And if they get swordged on turn one and then I can't use them to fix my mana, well, that's one less swords that my opponent has for whatever
yeah.
I'm planning on casting turn three and turn four.
Hmm.
They're not too expensive right now, also, the original Onslaught Weather Wayfarers. Picked up a playset of Glow Riders. I'm liking
Nice.
some of the weird white control lists that I see with Glow Riders. And these are also not expensive at all. It's a rare from Legions. Two colorless, one white, 2/1, creature cleric. Non-creature spells cost one more to play. And then Ryan from Ohio sent us a picture of a card probably like a month ago now in our group chat. And I was like, yeah, I need to get some of those. The card is Rith's Charm.
Ah,
Instant, one red, one green, one white. It's one of the charm spells. Choose
uh-huh.
one, destroy target non-basic land, or put 3/1/1 Saproling tokens into play, or prevent all damage a source of your choice would deal this turn. So I do like this card. I do think it's above rate for pre-modern. And, we talked about, we did an episode on Three Deuce. And ever since that episode, I've been fiddling around putting together random red, green, white deck lists. And I finally just got to sleeve one up, build it. And I like wrist charms. Wrist charms for little three deuce deck. You know what I'm saying, Alex?
Yeah, I've never really paid attention to that card. I've looked at those three color, three mana charms
Mm-hmm.
several times. I remember like Dromar's charm and that one especially I don't think I paid attention to too much, but you're right that Orion was, you mentioned that generating the three Saprolings for three mana is pretty good. And I'm trying to think, I don't know. I know green has a decent amount of effects like that, but pre-modern in general, I want to say that it just doesn't have a ton of options for creating your like 1/1 type creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you agree? I'm thinking of like what's the white
There's
spell that
Decree of
creates?
Justice.
Yeah, I
That's
was
this
thinking about that and how
yeah,
much mana it costs.
you could cycle that, create 1/1 soldiers. There's some green spells, or if they get damaged, they create 1/1 creatures. There's also some green. I think there might be both green red. There might be a green white one too. They're different removal spells targeting either artifacts or enchantments. They destroy target artifact or target enchantment. When you destroy that target, you get X number of 1/1 tokens. I think in those cases, the X is equal to the casting cost of whatever it is you're targeting. One of them
Yeah,
might be called artifact mutation. One of them might be called
yeah.
aura mutation. I believe that's what they are. So there are some options, but I'm just thinking three deuce. It's a nice little low to the ground uh, creature deck. The creatures usually have some interesting abilities, little different abilities here and there. Things like Granger Guild Mage, you can use to ping. Things like Manimals to ramp. Things like there's a dwarf that destroys lands. Dwarven Miner, the guy with the
I think
sexy
so.
lips, the big juicy lips. I also like if you don't want to, but 3 mana for 3/1/1s is pretty good. And if you don't want to do that, the destroy target non-basic land is also a pretty good option.
Uh-huh.
It's a three
All
color
three of them,
deck.
yeah. can be useful. So you have some versatility there if you're not using it for that.
So three-color deck, mana can be difficult in three-color decks for three-color decks in pre-modern, and I might not want to run Wastelands, you know, in a
Oh yeah, okay.
three-color deck. So here you have a Wasteland type effect. You can use it to generate some creatures, or if you got a Gaia's Cradle or a Sarah Sanctum on the other end of the board or on the other end of the table causing problems, just bust out the charm, maybe.
Hmm.
What are they, like 20 cents now or something? 15 cents. What the hell? It's basically free. Nothing's that cheap any longer. When energy prices go up, because of all the data centers they're building for all the AI slot people need to generate every day. That's going to go through the roof now because I think OpenAI is letting you do porn and stuff. I didn't read the actual, but imagine when you can do erotica in Chat GPT, how much energy is going to be wasted for all this bullshit. I'm not going to be able to heat my house the normal way, but I can just purchase a bunch of Rith charms and other, like 10 cent, 5 cent pre-modern bulk and just burn it for warmth.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice, but that's what I've been doing. Watching the Tranquil Domain, buying a little bit of cardboard that I can use to either put in a deck or burn for warmth.
Okay, nice.
Segment one, Alex. Let's get on to segment one. Segment one is called Building on Birds. Today, we are going to discuss birds,
Yeah.
specifically an article called Building on the Bird Creature Type. That's where we got this idea for this episode today. This is an article written by Sigmund Ausfresher. Alex pronounced that.
Sigmund Ausfresser.
Yeah, that's probably right. I think that's right. He published it in on coolstuffinc.com back in August 14th of 2024. It's the second of two articles. This guy writes for Cool Stuff Inc. This is the second of two articles he wrote during the Bloomberg release that were focusing on what he called the in-between creature types. So the in-between creature types are those creature types that haven't always been relevant throughout the history of Magic. You know, some creature types have always been a thing.
Yeah.
Zombies, merfolk, goblins. But you have others. Let's throw out orcs, for instance. Wasn't much there for the orcs.
Hmm.
But then something happens, right? That was a long time ago. Magic's been around for 30 years, 32 years now. New tribal lords are printed, new commanders are printed, uh, new creatures of a certain type are printed that have special abilities that give these clan decks abilities that they didn't have available to them prior. Or sometimes things were simply leveled up just due to creature type updates. That created more synergies. He points out, like one such instance in this article, beginning with Urza's Destiny in 1999, any creature that fell into the AVs class started to receive the generic creature type bird,
Hmm.
right?
No,
So,
no longer have to worry about having crows versus eagles versus hawks versus.
so in the article, he covers some of the history of MTG birds, some of the things, some of the cards that were printed, some of the things that happened. And he also talks about his personal experience building around birds during an era that overlaps in large part with the pre-modern era, which is why I think we both kind of like this article because we were like, oh, these are cards we're trying to learn about, cards we're playing with at the moment.
Hmm.
So I'm going to start with a brief history of birds in Magic. So people have been building with birds since the earliest days of Magic. There were 8 birds printed from Alpha through the 4 Horsemen set.
Okay.
And some of my favorite birds are from these sets, and I want to talk about them.
All right.
So in ABU, you had 2 birds. Birds of Paradise, Rock of Care Ridges. The author says, to find original bird creatures, we need to go all the way back to the beginning of the game in 1993, in limited edition alpha, we saw the printing of Rock of Care Ridges, a 3/3 flying red creature, and the famous Birds of Paradise, a 0/1 flying green creature. Birds of Paradise, everybody knows. One green, 0/1 flying, tapped, add 1 mana of a color to of your choice to your mana pool. It was a great, it still is, was and still is, a facilitator of multicolor strategies, a mana ramper, a chump blocker, and these days, if you have a Lord or a Rancor, it can even fly over from some damage. I wasn't doing that in the 90s, but now
Yeah.
in the 2020s, I've been damaging people with Birds of
Yeah,
Paradise.
I like having Rancor around for my Birds of Paradise. That's a nice, makes them feel like they're not just, dead card if you once you no longer need the mana.
I was putting Elephant Guide on Birds of Paradise, one of the first decks I
Mhm.
made when we started Premodern. I think it was 4 Llanowars, 4 Birds of Paradise, 4 Elephant Guides, 4 Rancors, and then some other stuff that I can't remember. Other bird in Alpha was Rock of Care Ridges. Oh, I forgot to say, Birds of Paradise was originally summoned mana birds. Now it's creature bird. So this is one of the updates that has occurred. Rock of Care Ridges was originally summon rock.
Okay.
There were no other rocks. You didn't have a rock lord. There was nothing you could do to pump your rock, really, or rocks in general. Now it is creature bird. So Rock of Care Ridges is 3 colorless, 1 red, flying, 3/3. There's not much to that. The author says back in 93, this rare creature packed a significant punch and was a decent budget option for those who couldn't afford the coveted Shivan Dragon. I do have a Rock of Care Ridges from Revised. I opened it in a Revised pack back in the day. I still have that very same rock. What
Yeah,
do
I
I...
had one back then. I don't know I don't have it anymore.
Oh my God, what'd you do with the rock,
I don't
Alex?
know. I
That's...
probably traded it at some point. Like that was really early on. I had it.
What do I do with my old Revised rock? I've been considering, Alex, an old school red-white flyers deck. I have Sarah Angels. I recently, one day when I couldn't fall asleep, I was up at like 2:30 a.m. and I ordered an unlimited granite gargoyle from
Oh,
TCG Player. So now I have an unlimited granite gargoyle.
I think I got a revised one.
I got a couple of revised ones that I just had from back in the day too. So I got a fleet of granite gargoyles.
Mm.
And I also bought some Beta Mesa Pegasi recently.
Oh,
Mesa Pegasi.
okay.
So I think,
Pegasus, by the way, is a clan that is really underrepresented, uh, at least in pre-modern, old school and pre-modern. Makes me sad.
there are a couple cards, right, that like
There's a
generate
few, but they're yeah,
Pegasi.
not really good.
Not really good. I think they had their time in the sun at some point in the 90s in Type 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't really see them. You don't really see them these days.
I saw one in a deck recently. I was kind of like, oh, hey, there's someone using that. But yeah, there's just not too many, you know.
Yeah.
So
But the rock isn't great, but I think I might put it in the Red White Flyers deck because it just curves out nicely. You got
it's
your,
yeah, it's fine. It's
yeah,
not
it's fine.
amazing, but it's for 4 mana in red to have a flyer. It's 3/3. It's not bad.
I got my Pegasi at 1 colorless, 1 white. Got my Granite Gargoyle at 2 colorless, 1 red. You got the rocks at 3 colorless, 1 red, and then you got your angels at the top of the curve. I think everything
Hmm.
curves out nicely there. And I just gotta get some proxies of moats because I'm not buying moats anymore.
Hmm.
I
And you
sold
always
my
have
moat.
Dragon Whelp as an option. You can like flip
That's
that in and
true.
out with the rock if you want.
That's what I usually go with. That's what I always played back in the day. I had some
That's what,
beat.
yeah, our play group played Dragon Whelps and maybe Granite Gargoyles. Uh,
So maybe my Rocket Care Ridges just stays in my box like it has been for the past 30 some years. This is my Rock of Care Ridges looks near mint. My Dragon Whelps are beat to shit because they're more exciting to play.
yeah. Now, it depends on how much other color you have in this deck. You're talking about going red, white.
That's it.
Um, but like if it was, the rock could be more useful in a deck that doesn't have much red in it compared to the
Yeah.
Dragon Whelp.
Yeah, yeah. So those are the ABU birds. In the 4 Horsemen set, you have 6 birds. 6 birds that were printed.
Started to amp up the birds.
The author says, in Magic's Where does he say this? In Magic's first expansion, Arabian Nights, we saw a new card that was originally printed as an egg, but eventually was updated to be a bird egg. Thus, the next bird card printed in Magic was also red, but this one couldn't even fly. Rook egg. Rook egg from Arabian Nights. It is originally, as he said, summon egg, and now it is creature bird egg. This is always one of my favorite cards. It is 3 colorless, 1 red, 0/3. If Rook Egg goes to the graveyard, a Rook, a 4/4 red flying creature, comes into play on your side at the end of that turn. Use a counter to represent Rook. Rook is treated exactly like a normal creature, except if it leaves play, it is removed from the game entirely.
Yeah, this card's awesome. It's on my short list of some to pick up. I'd like to put it in some sacrifice decks or even just the other, other various decks.
A
Uh,
red-white Flyers deck, for
yeah.
instance, which is where mine are going. Combine them with Earthquakes.
Mhm.
I love Earthquake and Rook Egg. It's a classic combo. Interesting thing about Rook Egg is it was part of the original restricted list in January of 1994.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
January 1994, formation of the original DCI banned/restricted list. Those cards included Ali from Cairo, Ancestral Recall, Berserk, Black Lotus, Brain Geyser, Dingus Egg. Interesting one.
hmm.
Gauntlet of Might, Icy Manipulator. You got your Moxes, you got your Orcish Oriflame, Soul Ring, Time Twister, Time Vault, Time Walk, and then Rook Egg.
No Chaos Orb, or was it banned completely?
I don't see it in the list that I have here.
Huh, okay.
It was quickly unrestricted. So that was January 1994, originally put on the restricted list. February 1994, it was removed from the restricted list.
Okay.
So it was a very brief time. We probably didn't even know about it because we didn't even know Rook Egg existed at the time it was restricted, probably. I don't know if we had seen them yet in January of
Yeah.
1994.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that at all.
And this was because of the wording of the card. For a short period of time, you could draw and discard down to 7 and get a free 4/4 flyer. Because the original wording just says if Rook Egg goes to the graveyard. So if the
Oh,
egg
not
goes to
from
the grave,
play. I
yeah.
see. I
Or
see.
or people who had, if they were people who were lucky to get their hands on Arabian Nights booster packs, if they had Bazaar Baghdad's too, you could activate your Bazaar. You drop your Bazaar as your first land, activate it, discard
Discard your Rook Eggs.
your
Okay.
Rook Eggs, and then you got 4/4 flyers basic for free at the beginning of the
Huh.
game.
Not bad. Not bad.
None of that mattered to us because how the hell were you supposed to get Arabian Nights cards in 1994 as a 13-year-old in Ohio? Huh? Huh?
You couldn't. I mean, you could buy some of them, like, at an overpriced rate from a small LGS.
Hot shots, you sons of bitches. I didn't like you
Call out
guys.
hot shots.
I don't like you guys. You weren't that nice to us.
They definitely didn't have any deals on like the old cards like that.
Not just that, I don't feel like they were that nice to kids.
Yeah.
This is just my memory.
So I wonder how long Orcish Oriflamme stayed on the restricted list.
February 1994.
Same also, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Orcish Oriflame and Rook Egg were both unrestricted then. I'm not sure why Orcish Oriflame was restricted. I know that I think that's the card in Alpha there was like a misprint.
Really?
And it's it's better in Alpha because you can cast it for 1 less mana, or maybe even 2 less mana. Let me pull up the Alpha one.
Oh, the alpha one, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
2
two
less
casting
mana.
cost instead of four.
Yeah, which is a big deal.
It is a big deal, yeah.
But I don't know why it was restricted and then unrestricted that quickly.
Yeah.
Because 94 unlimited, like that misprint would have already been fixed. So who knows? I don't know. We can look into that at some point.
They might not have had like a rule in place yet that like made all versions use the current language. Like, so people might have been playing such that if you had an alpha one, it was 2 mana, and a beta one was 4 mana.
Yeah, who knows?
You know what I mean?
That's a possibility. But yeah, the fact that they were both restricted and unrestricted so quickly, and Rook Egg was unrestricted so quickly because they just errated it, I think. It now current wording says when this creature dies, create a 4/4 red bird creature
Yeah.
token with flying at the beginning of the next end step. So that it now has to die. I think they restricted it and then they just changed the way that it worked.
Yeah, there might have just been like a rules update where they changed a few different rules like all at once, and
That's what
affected
I'm
both of
thinking.
those cards.
That's what I'm thinking.
Um,
But Rook Egg is lovely. Classic Christopher Rush art. A really interesting card. There was nothing else like this at the time. It's just fun. It's a good chump blocker. You can hatch it after earthquakes, infernos. Let's go into my old school red white flyers deck. Sack at the Diamond Valley. Another bird from Arabian Nights. Bird Maiden. Let me pull up the Arabian Night art. Bird originally summoned Bird Maiden. It is now creature human bird.
wow.
It's two colorless, one red, 1/2 flyer. So it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. Classic art, beautiful art from Kaya Foglio. I'm gonna say to you, Alex, I was shocked. I was shocked to see Bird Maiden on this list. I've been looking at this art for 3 decades. I don't know why, because it is called Summon Bird Maiden, but I always thought the maiden was a normal human maiden with a winged contraption strapped to her
Yeah, or
back.
like some sort of magical augmentation, or but more maiden than bird.
I didn't think it was born a winged human,
Yeah. I wonder what
which if
the
you look,
actual like 1001 Tales, you know,
which I've never read. Yeah,
neither have I, yeah. So I don't
yeah.
know what it says about this. Maybe bird maidens were like actually bird maidens.
According to the MTG wiki, which I consulted instead of the original, the 1001 Tales, 1001 Arabian Nights. Is that what it's called?
I
1001
think
Tales of
so.
Arabian Nights. Oh my God, Alex, look it up.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were gonna
Look
quiz
up
me
the
on
exact
that, but
title. I should know this. I have a copy literally right over there. I have a copy of it that I've had
the
for like 20 years. I've never read it. It just sits
the
there.
1001 Arabian Nights.
1001 Arabian Nights.
But that's just, like one book version of it. It might have been called something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Also known as Arabian Nights. I don't know.
I had to run.
Although,
This is my copy of the Arabian Nights. So in
okay,
addition to Magic the Gathering cards, I collect some books, and I used to collect modern library editions of books. I like the
I
old
remember that. Yeah,
modern library editions. This is a first edition, first modern library edition of the Arabian
awesome.
Nights, an adult selection. This is one of my nicer copies. You don't usually find them like this well preserved. This is actually a beautiful dust jacket, balloon cloth binding. Haven't read it. Just keep it on a shelf. This is the Arabian Nights Entertainments, or the Book of 1,000 Nights and a Night. This one, you mentioned there are different versions, happens to be a selection of the most famous and representative of these tales from the plain and literal translations by Richard F. Burton.
Okay.
And the stories have been chosen and arranged by Bennett A. Cerf and are printed complete and unabridged with many of Burton's notes.
And I guess if you're, depending on where you're from, it's just the 1001 Nights,
Yeah.
right? You don't have to specify.
This might be a bird maiden actually on the cover art.
Oh, okay.
That may be a bird
I
maiden.
can't see, but okay.
It's it's a humanoid figure with wings, with stylized wings. Anyways, according to MTG Wiki, bird maidens of Rabia are winged human women capable of flight and renowned for their beauty. Bird maidens are a beautiful all-female tribe of winged humans who procreate with I like to say winged male humans.
Oh, okay.
So they swoop down from the sky.
They have a thing for the walkies.
They see a man with no wings. They're like, I want some of that. They swoop down, they take it. Their offspring are always twins of the same gender, and if male, are without wings, while if female, are with wings.
Oh,
After they give birth, the bird maidens raise the daughters themselves, but leave the sons in a nearby village under the custody of people living there. That is some fucked up shit, Alex. I used to just think the bird maidens were like, I mean, they just looked fun and fanciful and free. And now I think they're like monsters who swoop down from the sky. molest human males, and then toss aside male offspring. Fun art. No one plays bird maidens, though, but it's fun art.
Yeah, it's a 3 mana, man. Ouch.
Not good enough for 3 mana.
Yeah. If it was 2 mana, it'd be sweet. Not
I'd,
sweet.
I'd,
Okay.
I'd play him if they were 2 mana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clockwork Avon.
Okay.
This is another old school bird. This one's from Antiquities.
This
It,
is bad, right? Or am I getting it
yeah,
confused with another card?
it's bad.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Originally artifact creature, now artifact creature bird. So it gets all the bird synergies. It's 5 colorless, 0/4 flying. There's a bunch of clockwork cards that are just like this. They come
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like zero something and then they get counters.
Yeah.
This one, you put 4+1/+0 counters on Avian. After Avian attacks or blocks a creature, discard a counter. During his or her upkeep, controller may buy back lost counters for 1 colorless per counter. This taps the Avian. So it does something that a creature does to attack or block, lose a counter. You can put another counter on it, but it like taps it.
Okay, this isn't as bad as I was remembering. I think I had it maybe confused with a different card, but
But it is too slow. I have spent decades looking at the clockwork cards, wanting to play them because I
Mhm.
want them to be cool, but they're just not good. At least Clockwork Beast has 7 power. That's the
Yeah, I used
one.
to play some Clockwork Beast.
Yeah. That's one we played back in the day because you don't open many creatures that have 7 power in
Mhm.
1993. And you're like, God damn. And they put that in and it doesn't do much, but sometimes it's all right. 7 power gets over a lot of like, that makes up for certain other weaknesses of a card, especially back in 93, 94.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just sort of used it as like a disposable offensive weapon, like a ball lightning, you know what I mean? Then they
Next
didn't
bird.
have to recharge it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have
How
to
much mana
recharge.
was it? Was 6 mana, okay, for 7/4.
Next bird. Osai Vultures. I'm going to pretend like I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is from Legends. 1 colorless, 1 white, 1/1 flying. We get a lot of text, which sometimes you see on Legends cards. At the end of any turn in which a creature is placed in the graveyard from play, put a counter on the vultures. Remove 2 counters to give vultures +1/+1 until end of turn. Very disappointing when you read those last
Yeah, yeah,
four words. I used to think, too bad the creatures must go to the graveyard. So when you STP a creature, you won't get a counter on your vultures.
right.
That sucks.
The
2 counters
ratio of
just
counters is bad. The counters are temporary. They don't work if
temporary.
it's exiled. Oh well.
Next one annoys me. Annoys
Ah,
everybody,
yep.
really.
I know
It's
what you're gonna say.
Whippoorwill from the dark. It was originally Summon Whippoorwill. Now it's Creature Bird.
Which is
If I
fine.
if I didn't mention earlier, Osai Vultures was originally Summon Vultures. Now it's Creature Bird.
But that's not why you're upset, right?
No.
I didn't
I'm
think so.
upset because it's 1 green, 1/1. Summon Whippoorwill. Pay 2 green, tap it. Until end of turn, target creature may not regenerate, and damage done to target creature may not be prevented or redirected. If target creature goes to the graveyard, remove it from the game. You know what word I didn't say when I was reading the text?
Flying.
Fly.
No flying.
Doesn't fly for some reason. Whippoorwills are real birds, and they are
Yeah,
not flightless birds. They
they do in
fly.
fact fly.
So not much to say here, except everybody knows it should fly. I know you don't generally want creatures to fly. Back in the day, they had creature pie rule, color pie rules, and they're like, oh, green creatures, green's usually not flying. Let's
Yeah.
you play hurricanes, knock everything out of the air. But at the same time, birds of paradise flew, scrub sprites flew. They still fly, not just flew, they fly. If bit for free, flies. I demand an errata. It's been too
Yeah.
long. Errata
That's
the
one I can really
card.
get behind, honestly. I feel like the whippoorwill should fly. I don't know.
Errata the card. Is Whippoorwill? This is the only printing. Is it? It's not reserve list.
Not a reserve
They
list,
just never
but it's
printed it.
might just be the only printing. Because
Eh,
it's not a rare, is it?
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's like an uncommon.
So just reprint the damn thing with updated language that says flying on it. Only printing.
Yeah, only
Wow.
printing.
We should do a Whippoorwill buyout, Alex.
Okay. I got one. I think I told you last show or two shows ago.
I think
Got
I
one
got one or two too.
in my dark purchases for October. I
We're
was
on.
just kind of wanted one. I like it's a cool looking card. It's
It's
not,
cool
yeah, it
looking.
like
Yeah.
somehow fits the dark even. It's not like a scary card, but it's sort of like, you know, quiet and like fall or autumn feeling, you know?
It's just out there preventing regeneration
Hmm.
and not flying. The last bird. You see where I'm going with all this. They used to be summon vultures, summon whippoorwill, summon mana bird, summon bird maiden, summon egg. Now they all say bird. They've been
Egg.
changed. Summon bird.
Yes.
So they can take advantage of all sorts of, clan-based cards, anthem spells, all sorts of
Mhm.
things. Zephyr Falcon. I always like this one. This is the last one in from ABU for Horsemen. Printed in Legends. Originally summon falcon, now creature bird. You didn't used to have many falcons. Couldn't really benefit from any falcon lords or anything. In Homelands,
Hmm.
they printed a falcon lord. What did you have at the time? Nothing. Zephyr Falcon. I think that might have been it. But now it's a bird. It's one colorless, one blue, 1/1 flying. Attacking does not cause Zephyr Falcon to tap. I did always like this one because I have a soft spot for flyers and creatures with vigilance. So
Hmm.
anything that flies and has vigilance, I dig.
I actually played this card yesterday.
Okay.
It's in the two old school beginner decks that I built. There's
Okay.
the white blue and a green red, and they're based off of the Reddit post that a person made making these decks for his daughter. And yeah, the blue white deck has Zephyr Falcon in it. They're singleton decks, and they have a few different cards that are sort of meant to teach you mechanics of the game. So this one's probably in there for, the vigilance effect, I would guess. Yeah, and they're not like super optimized decks either. They're kind of meant to show you different levels of power. Some cards are kind of like deliberately like meh, just it's like a slower format, a little more instructive and stuff. But they're kind of
Hmm.
cool and fun. We tried them out, and yeah, I had this Zephyr Falcon out for a minute.
What happened to it?
It died, I'm pretty sure. I
Oh
died.
my God. This is just the second card in the old school card pool with both vigilance and flying. You had this and you had the Sarah Angel available to you. I used to think this was a nice little attacker in a stasis deck,
Hmm.
right? Doesn't tap.
Hmm.
Getting Sarah Angel out in a stasis deck is a bit much to 5 mana, but you could drop a Zephyr.
Yep.
So in 93, 94, we had red birds, green birds, white birds, blue birds, and even artifact birds in the
Huh.
form of Clockwork Avian. But as the author points out, starting in 1995, bird creatures created by wizards were often white and blue, and a bit more consistent with what we'd come to expect. There was Silver Urn, or Ernie, I don't know how to pronounce that, from Ice Age. Do you remember that one, Alex?
I don't know. I think it's Earn.
It had cool art. It seems like it should be Urn. It was a Heather Hudson artwork. And I think it was like 4 mana, 2/2. Yes. Three colorless and one blue, 2/2 flying trample.
Huh.
Which a trample is kind of unnecessary, usually, for a flyer.
You have to be doing something else to make this creature bigger.
Yeah. But nobody really plays this, but it's a cool looking card.
Hmm.
You had Silver Urn, printed in Ice Age, Giant Albatross from Homelands, which was a
I
summon
remember.
albatross.
Remember the
Silver
albatross?
Urn was a summon urn, not a summon bird.
Oh yeah.
And you had carrier pigeons from alliances. Those were summon pigeons.
Okay. Yeah, getting too specific now, like for their own good, like,
You're getting very specific.
you know.
Along with a few other birds from alliances. So that was old school card pool. Now we have the birds from Ice Age, Homelands, alliances. Everything's very specific. You also had Aesir Glider, artifact creature, not a bird. Carrier pigeons. It is now a bird though. Carrier pigeons was summon pigeons, not bird. Wild Aesir. Don't know how to pronounce this. Aesir. which was a summon ace tier, S tier. Two colorless, one white, 1/1 flying, first strike. Two white, give it +2/+0 until end of turn. You cannot spend more than two white in this way each turn. And then
Okay.
you also had what some say is the best card in the game, Stormcrow. One colorless, one blue, 1/2 flying. This was actually a summoned bird, so they got that right on Stormcrow.
Okay.
Not only could you pitch it to force a will, but it could also get bird synergy because it was summon bird, not summon pigeon, not summon urn, not summon S tier, if that's how you pronounce that, not summon vulture. In Homelands, when you get to Homelands, you have the aforementioned giant albatross, which was a summon albatross, Mesa Falcon, and then finally you have one of my favorite bird cards from this time, Soroya the Falconer. I believe she was the first lord to grant banding to creatures.
Oh,
Soroya the Falconer was one colorless, two white, summon legend 2/2. All falcons get +1/+1. Pay one colorless and one white. Target falcon gains banding until end of turn. So you couldn't really, like, nobody played this card back in the day because all you had was Zephyr Falcon and Mesa Falcon,
and
which
yeah.
was also printed in the same set, Homelands. But who's going to run a Lord when all you have to beef up with the Lord are two 1/1s to fly?
Yeah. And these sorts of cards, like, they gave me like, they were tantalizing. Like they made
Yeah.
you go, okay, cool. Maybe there's going to be more support for this, type of creature. But in that set, there like wouldn't be any, and you'd be like, oh, I gotta wait for the next set, I guess, to see if they'll ever show love for falcons or bats or whatever.
And Soraya was one of the creatures that I think received the biggest upgrade after errata. So she was
Yeah.
eventually errated. We're seeing that specific birds have become just birds in general. Soraya was errated to bird creatures get +1/+1, not just falcons.
Yeah, went
Target
from being super specific to like an actually really good card for a
a
bird
bird
deck.
lord. Target bird creature gains banding until end of turn. So birds. One of three bird lords that exist, at least in the old school and pre-modern card pools. There could be even more, but there are three bird lords now. We'll mention the other two later. Soraya is still pretty cheap, $3, $2.94. Never really took off in price, but it does seem to see the occasional spike. If you look at it, MTG stocks goes up a little bit, comes down, goes up a little bit. Never really goes up above like $5, I don't think. But
Homelands.
I Homelands, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I like Soraya the Falconer. I was looking at the art too for Soraya and Mesa Falcon the other day. And they're different artists. So Soraya the Falconer was illustrated by Dennis Detweiler. Mace Falcon, illustrated by Mark Poole. At least this one. Ah, there's different printings. I forgot about that. But if you look at the color scheme here,
Okay.
one of Mark Poole's Mace Falcons.
Hmm.
Look at the sky,
Yeah.
look at the
Like a
bird,
blue to green transition,
look at the earth,
blue, teal.
and then you look at the color scheme of Soroya.
Mm.
It's like not exactly the same, but it's like similar color scheme going on there. Did they both did they independently arrive at that color scheme?
Yeah, I say so. With surety.
Okay.
But they look nice together.
They do look nice together. That's what I was thinking. So that's the old school to Homelands / alliances. Ice Age Homelands Alliance. Old school to alliances.
No, can we just see the other Falcon that you just set
It
up? That second
it
art?
was it was also Mark Poole.
What? Okay, there we go.
Is it the
Horsemen.
same? Yeah, it's also Mark Poole. Different color scheme.
It
Look
looks
at
more like the Falcon on the Soraya card.
that's what I was just thinking. Look at the Falcon. Is that the same exact Falcon
And what's in the background? What's that
on
ruins?
Soraya? Well,
Maybe not.
this
Who knows?
this Falcon has a light belly.
Yeah,
Oh, light belly. Oh man.
it seems darker to me. It seems more like
Maybe it's night there
a
though.
rusty colored belly.
It's night and the belly looks darker because it's night. and cloudy. But then in the pre-modern, so you have all these very specific birds, types of birds. They've been errated to birds in general in 95. And then in pre-modern, 95 to 2003, you have an explosion of birds. You have so much more. The
An
pre-modern
explosion of birds.
explosion of birds is like when Randy Johnson threw that heater,
That's what I was
he
thinking.
exploded the damn bird. And if you bring that up, he gets pissed. I
Really?
don't know why.
Hmm.
He doesn't want to be reminded he murdered a bird. I know it's
I
not
guess. Yeah.
pleasant. It's probably not a pleasant memory, but also it's not that big of a
I mean,
deal.
what can you do?
I
It's
know
like
nothing. You
you
didn't do it on purpose. You threw a
took every
heater.
precaution that he could.
You're not the only baseball player that's ever exploded a bird.
No?
Happened before.
Hmm.
Might have been the only pitcher that's exploded a bird.
Oh,
Not sure. We'll look into that after the show. In
we'll get back to you
pre-modern,
next week, folks.
pre-modern carpet follow up to next episode. Next episode, follow up to this episode. How many baseball players have exploded birds? In game, not counting their private lives, because who knows? Not counting
Yeah.
bird hunting either,
In the
duck hunting.
process of playing a professional baseball game.
Yes. In pre-modern, 95 to 2003, you have 99 more birdies brought to the
Good
party.
Lord.
99 birdies. This era, around late 90s, early 2000s, was also the era in which the author of this article was building his bird brew. He showed an image in this article. That's actually how I started off the article.
Yeah. And so he wasn't playing pre-modern, but this overlaps a lot with
A lot.
pre-modern
Yeah.
and what we're looking at for bird decks.
It is full of classic pre-modern birds. In this article, he says about the deck, one of the oldest serious decks I ever built was themed around these flying creatures. Inspiration came to me when I cracked open a booster pack of Judgment and stumbled upon Soulcatcher's Airy. Soulcatcher's Airy, Alex. I'm gonna pull this one up because this is one of the best, if not the best, bird card
Yeah.
in the pre-modern card pool. It's one colorless, one white. This is a little bit annoying to me because I learned about this card like right before it went from 50 cents to $10.
Yes, I would like to pick up a
Like,
playset of this for maybe a
yes. I was like, I'm gonna
buck
get
or
some of
two.
these.
Damn it. I think I have one.
So I see now that it's come down from $10 to $6 over the last several months, maybe 6 months or so. Maybe we just wait this out. We can get it for like $2 again. Still, it would have been
Yeah.
nice to pick it up for 50 cents or 25 cents.
Only printing?
Uh,
I think.
it's in the list. Ah, it's in the
Okay.
list too.
So almost only printing.
Almost any print. I never know how the list affects print runs. I just don't totally
Tough. You
understand the
don't know how
list.
many, yeah,
It's
extra
one colorless,
supplements.
one white enchantment. Whenever a bird is put into your graveyard from play, put a feather counter on Soulcatcher's Airy. All birds get +1/+1 for each feather counter on Soulcatcher's Airy.
Hmm.
So there's synergy here with other cards that let you sacrifice birds for benefits, and you'll see some of that when we talk about more bird cards. It also allows you to attack with reckless abandon, trade birds in combat, beef up the rest of your crew.
Yeah. Well, it lends itself, since birds are mostly going to be like smaller, lower casting cost, it lends itself to a strategy where you're, summoning a lot of birds and maybe losing a lot of birds as well.
Yeah. It's also nice because, the birds low casting cost. This is a low curve deck. A lot
Hmm.
of times with these, when you're running a low mana curve creature deck, it's full of your deck is full of small creatures. So if you make it to the mid game, you can be in really big trouble. Like you have to deal lethal with these small creatures or do something to slow your opponent down with these small creatures.
Hmm.
Uh, so you can kill them before they start to bring out their beefier creatures that your 1/1s, your 2/2s can't deal with. But if you're playing birds and you have a Soul Catcher Airy, yes, you could be turn 6 or 7 still casting, 1/1 flyers, but they could be 4/4s, 5/5s at that time for 2
Hmm.
mana, if you can keep the Ares safe. It's also really nice, like it gets a counter, but you don't have to remove a counter or anything to beef up your creatures. You know, the counters just accrue on
Hmm.
this, and it's for all of your birds. So it's a really good card.
Hmm.
You need it in a bird deck. So this is what inspired him to build around birds. I think it's what inspired you to start building around birds. And the first time I played against bird decks at local meetups, this was the card that I was like, oh man, I need to get that off the board as quickly as possible,
Yeah,
or else I'm going to
yeah.
be in
I mean,
trouble.
I guess you could build, you could build bird decks without this, but I feel like it's
Are you a crazy person?
good enough that it's almost an auto include, and then it kind of, I don't know, it tilts the direction that you want to go with the deck.
Are you a lunatic? You're going to build pre-modern birds without Soul Catcher's Airy?
Yeah, you could.
Are you a madman,
I'm not
Alex?
doing it. I didn't say
Okay, it's not financial advice. Alex is not telling you to build without Soul Catcher's Airy. He's just saying you
Go
could.
to the white bird that does the similar thing next. And I'm gonna
He's
take you
just
out of
saying you
order.
have free will, maybe. Who knows? That's a complicated subject. We don't want to get into it. If you don't build with pre-modern birds with Soul Catcher's Airy, maybe I shouldn't blame you because maybe it really wasn't up to you. 63 cards in his deck. I imported his deck into Moxfield. I spent roughly 2 hours yesterday trying to identify some of the very blurry cards, in particular some of the lands. I finally got
Uh,
them.
you should. I'm sorry. Yeah, you sent me the one text and I didn't see it in time. But yeah, you should have asked me sooner because I think I knew what most of them were.
I was asking ChatGPT. I was taking screenshots of the photos in here. Like for the ones I couldn't get, I was taking screenshots of these two lands right here. I took this screenshot, put it into ChatGPT. I said, "Can you help me identify this card?" And it said, "It's Tundra." And I go, "No, it's not
No,
Tundra.
it's
I
not, you
specified
idiot.
pre-modern." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, you're right. Tundra is not legal in the pre-modern card pool. Actually, this card looks like Tundra." And I'm like, "I'm fucking done with you. I'm done with you, you son of a bitch. You keep telling me it's Tundra, and I told you it's not Tundra." But I figured it out, and I didn't need ChatGPT. And I shouldn't have even tried to use ChatGPT for this because I just wasted a ton of energy. And now I'm
Mhm.
going to have to burn my wrist charms for fuel to warm my house. Getting back to the deck, Sigmund's deck. 63 cards in that deck. We're going to go through those cards,
I respect that 63 cards. I like it.
starting with the creatures and starting with the one drops. Why 63 cards? Because that's what we did back then. You build a 60 card deck and then like a no set comes out, right? And you open the pack and then you're like, "Oh, this is a really cool include for my bird deck. I'm just going to add this to the 60." And then it
Yeah.
becomes 61. And it becomes 62. And then it becomes 63.
And then you're like, no,
And
no more.
no more. Can't do more. And then your friend's like, 64, just do the 64th. And you're like, "No, I can't do it." And then they're like, "Just take out Soul Catcher's Harry." And then you're like, "What kind of madman takes out Soul Catcher's Harry?" Suntail Hawk, the one drop.
Just
It's plain old one
plain old
drop.
bird.
But you want to have a plain old one drop for creature
Yes.
horde
Yeah,
decks where
you
you're
need
curving
that. You
out
want that
creatures.
turn one. You want to get your birds going right away.
You want a
What
turn
does
one
he do?
play. Suntail Hawk is your turn one play, one white, one flying. Our furrow bearers once flew like this, carefree, needing nothing but a warm nest and a full belly. Our intellect may be more burdened than blessing. Commander Isha. I say things like that all the time. I wish I didn't have to think so much. I wish I was just a house cat. I still see this in pre-modern birds. There are limited options for the one drop spot. This is
Yeah.
serviceable. That's what I say about this. So that's his one drop. Two drops, things start to get more interesting. He runs. Also, you'll see he doesn't run a lot of like, it's not all play sets because again, you just played with what you had. So there are some cards in here where there's just like one of or two of, and he's like, "I would have played four, but it's just, you should probably play four, but I just didn't have four. So just deal with it." Uh, he did run four Mystic Familiars. One colorless, one white, 1/2 flying. Threshold. Mystic Familiar gets +1/+1 and has protection from black. I think, I mean, I like this card in bird decks and Premodern Birds because Threshold works well with all the bird sacrificing and all the bird loss that you're going to go through. You're going to suffer a
It
lot of
does.
losses.
Yeah. And it wasn't making the cut for me, but I forgot about the protection from black, so I should at least have this like sideboard.
Sideboard. That's what I think I'd do with it. Sideboard. Then another two drop is Sky Shroud Falcon. Sky Shroud Falcon. This is the one I had trouble.
Yeah, I
Uh,
knew it too. I knew
yeah.
it.
Guess what
I
ChatGPT
told you.
told me it was?
It told you it was Mesa Pegasus.
Fucking Sarah Angel.
I
Sky
almost
Shroud
said that. I
Falcon.
almost said that.
One colorless, one white, one flying. Attacking does not cause Sky Shroud Falcon to tap. It told me it was Sarah Angel, and then I swore at it and I said, no, there's lightning in the illustration in the back.
Taking away your energy,
And then it was
ChatGPT.
like, oh, yes, I'm so sorry. You are correct. This is actually, guess what it told me it was after I pointed out there was lightning in the art?
Lightning bolt?
Thunder Spirit.
Thunder Spirit, okay.
Sky Shroud Falcon. One colorless, one white, one flying. Attacking does not cause it to tap. It has vigilance.
Mhm.
I like vigilance in a bird deck.
Yeah.
It's real nice when you pump some of these birds because then
Yes,
they
exactly
become,
like
yeah,
yeah, what you said.
become sizable attackers and blockers. That's very nice. It's important to beef up your horde for both attack and defense. Uh, then you have Stormscape Familiar, which is
Mhm.
a lovely card, really. One colorless, one blue, one creature bird flying. White spells and black spells you play cost one less, one colorless less to play. I
Yep.
love the familiars. They're always good, includes. I'll never tell people not to play familiars. I just don't run them really at all ever because I'm been playing so many monocolored decks.
Uh,
So they've just been sitting in my box, but I bought all the familiars because they're cheap and they're good includes in any three color deck. Like I think I'll always consider, at least consider, should I put a familiar in here?
yeah, I've trouble deciding which decks to put them into as far as like which decks need them for their curve or for like the later game plays, like when it's worth investing in that early on to get the benefit from it later,
Yeah.
you know? Because I tend to go for cards like that, like
Hmm.
even back in the day and like even in other games and stuff. I'm like, okay, there's going to be a payoff for investing early, you know, later on it'll help me with casting things I need to. But a lot of the things in the bird decks are pretty low already,
That
so
is true.
I'm not sure. But I mean, this was one of the first cards I identified for the deck I was putting together.
Hmm.
So I have it in there. Still have to see how it plays out when I test it.
Here's when I like them. When you have something bigger that you want to ramp out, you use this as ramp. You don't have a Llanowar elf to ramp, but this this ability serves
Yeah.
as ramp
Mhm.
for a lot of the higher casting cost spells you're going to want to cast. But then also, I also like them in lower casting cast decks that have card draw.
That's what I was
And
going to say. You
yes,
can cast a couple things in a turn. You just have to
yes,
wait to replace it. Have to have a
yes.
way to replace it. Yeah.
And there is some card draw in this deck. And if you can
Mhm.
draw multiple birds on one turn, many of these birds have one colorless in their casting cost. If you can convert them to just one drops, you
Yeah.
can draw, three birds and then drop three birds on the battlefield on the same turn. That's very nice when you can make that happen. Next two drop, this deck is full of two drops. Many of the birds are two drops. Welkin Hawk, one
Mhm.
colorless, one white, one flying. If Welkin Hawk is put into any graveyard from play, you may search your library for a Welkin Hawk card, reveal that card to all players, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your library afterwards. There are a number of creatures with this, you know, searching ability
Yeah.
that were printed in the pre-modern era. And I don't like most of them. Most of them don't get played, but I like the Welkin Hawk because it's just two colorless.
Yeah. It fits in well with the theme of like not theme, but the functioning of this deck, with leaning into sacrificing and
Hmm.
spending, burning through a lot of creatures. And you need the card draw, in white. Um, my deck doesn't have much blue in it, but like, you need that card draw a little bit, so it's replacing some of your cards. So I like it.
Quite nice with all the sacrificing in the deck. A nice chump blocker since you get it right back. And it's easy to repeatedly cast for just 2 mana. 1 mana if you have a familiar out. Sage Owl. He ran two Sage Owls in here.
Hmm.
One colorless, one blue, 1/1. Summon bird from Weatherlight. Flying. When Sage Owl comes into play, look at the top four cards of your library. Put them back in any order. It's a nice little effect on a 1/1 flyer for 2. And I always loved the aesthetics of this card. I want to live in this. I want this to be my den,
Yeah,
my little library. And I want to
Al's
have
got
a
a
pet
nice
owl.
library to live in.
And I want to go here after work to relax and have a chat with the Sage Owl. The owl asks but never answers. That would actually be irritating. I don't want to have a chat with this Sage Owl. Could you imagine him just asking you questions and never answering?
Ooh.
I changed my mind. Soul Catcher. Next two drop. One colorless, one white, 1/1. Creature bird soldier. We talked about this on the bird soldier episode. Flying. Whenever a creature with flying is put into a graveyard from play, put a +1/+1 counter on Soul Catcher.
Yeah. Other than the enchantment, I think, yeah, this is the other like,
Yes.
basis for the deck. It's like,
Yes. And he only had one. And I think that's just because he had one. I think
yeah,
he actually
yeah,
mentions it in the article. He's like, why do I not have play sets of some things? Because that's just what I had.
yeah. So
That's
yeah,
what I played
definitely
with.
this is, a four of in the
This
deck.
is a 4 of. This, like you said, along with the Airy, this is when things can really get out of hand. If you have a Soul Catcher and an Airy out, you just have a few more birds to cast, things can
Well,
get
that's
out of
it.
hand really fast.
Yeah. And it affects your opponent's creatures with flying who aren't even birds,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, that's
Not
true.
affects, but it benefits from. Yeah.
Yeah. So Soul Catcher's great. Definitely a 4 of. Then he had Coast Watcher in
I don't
here.
remember this one.
Coast Watcher is another 2 drop. It's one colorless, one blue, 1/1. Creature bird soldier. Flying protection from green.
Okay. I mean, great sideboard card, for the deck against green.
I was gonna say I don't know why this card is in the deck, but here's my assumption. This
Because
is what I used to do back in the day, and I still want to do this sometimes. I'm assuming it's because he had a friend that always played Stompy.
oh,
And you just mainboard the Coast Watcher, and then you
yeah.
have a fantastic blocker for any beast that your buddy
You're
wants
just
to try.
seeing a lot of green in your
Yeah,
own like personal friends, like
yeah.
meta.
This is a kitchen table. It's a kitchen table
Yeah.
include in the main board. But also like a decent sideboard card
Yeah.
sometimes in some metas. So many of the green beaters have trample though, so it's not I don't know always
I
that great.
thought about that. They do, but a lot don't either. So,
Also a lot don't. Another 2 drop. This is actually not a pre-modern card. This deck mostly
um,
pre-modern, and then he also played for when he was building this deck for the release of a couple non-pre-modern sets. So here we have Courier Hawk, not a pre-modern card. One colorless, one white, 1/2. Creature bird, flying, and vigilance. Just a slightly better scratch out falcon.
yeah.
Instead
Shame
of
it's
a
not a pre-modern. Yeah.
instead of a 1/2, instead of a 1/1, it's a 1/2. And then you're onto the 3 drops. You have
Getting interesting.
Lieutenant Kurtar, one colorless, 2 white, 2/2. Bird Soldier Legend, flying, pay one white, and one colorless. Sacrifice Kurtar, remove target attacking creature from the game. This guy's really good.
Hmm.
I definitely put him in my bird decks. I don't love playing against him. He's a bit of a nuisance.
Hmm.
And he's really great because you don't need to tap him to activate its ability.
That's
So
true.
you
Yeah.
you can fly over for damage and still have him on the board to hold off attackers.
Yeah. My only question is how many of him to put in. That's the thing I'm struggling with. I think I
I
have maybe two now.
I would do 2 max, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Just
of
because
the
it's a legend
yeah,
or for other reasons?
because it's a legend.
Okay.
4 drops. So that's the only 3 drop in the deck. 4 drops. Commander Esha. One Commander Esha. 2 colorless, 2 white, 2/4. Bird Soldier Legend. Flying protection from creatures. A wonderful blocker and can attack through blockers.
This is really good. I should probably even play it in non-bird decks, maybe.
I've thought about it.
I never think about it in a non-bird deck, but every time I look at it, I'm like, This is good.
A contr any control style deck where like you don't care about dealing large amounts of damage all at once. You can just sit here and act as an invincible blocker and
Mhm.
can also just attack through blockers and deal damage while you hold off your opponent other
Yeah,
ways.
hold them off as long as you want, and then when the tides turn, you can, use it as an attacker.
It's just also it's a pretty good mid-range card too. You just think about what you're getting for 4 mana.
Yeah, 2/4
Not bad at
flyer for
all.
fours. I'm happy with that.
Not bad at all. And then other cards, so those are the creatures. Other cards, he has in his sorceries 4 airborne aids,
Hmm.
3 colors, 1 blue. Sorcery, draw a card for each bird in play. This is where I'm thinking like the familiars are really nice. If you have 1 or 2 familiars on the board and you cast like an airborne aid, it's the airborne aid is cheaper to cast. It's, kind of
No,
kind
it
of
won't be
high.
though, I don't think, right? Because
Oh
it's a
fuck,
blue
it's
spell,
creatures.
not a white or black.
Yeah, so I was never mind. Okay, white or black spells, that's right. Stormscape familiar, white or black spells. So cast the airborne aid, but if you draw a couple birds, your birds will be 1 casting cost to
Yeah.
play instead of 2. Most of the bird creatures here are 2 casting cost white birds. Most of them are 1 colorless, 1 white.
Okay.
But yeah, right. You can't get cheaper airborne aids. Airborne aids four as a four of. It's a bit much. Am I
Yeah,
right?
I think I just have like one in, but I might, I still need to figure out how much card draw I need. Um,
I'd probably do 2 max. Yeah. So
I mean the cost of the card for what it does is not bad. Like you're gonna get several cards, for blue three. Like
yeah,
so I think it's, definitely worth a consideration. And now
it's a
what you're
good
saying
rate.
about the familiar does apply to Battle Screech, right? So
Yes.
that's awesome.
Battle Screech is really good. 2 colorless, 2 white. Sorcery. Put 2/1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying into play, and then flashback. You can tap 3 untapped white creatures you control. So this can rapidly turn the tide in your favor. If you have a bird out, let's say it's a familiar. Put Battle Screech for 3, 2 birds, and then you can immediately tap those 2 birds in your 1 bird you already had out to generate 2 more birds. And then
Yeah,
next turn,
that's a good point that you can do that immediately right after you cast it the first time.
immediately.
I never, it's because I haven't played this enough. But
Yeah,
yeah, that's not bad to be able to do that back to back like that
immediately.
immediately. You don't have to wait for the creatures to not have summoning sickness, to
Yeah,
tap themselves. This card taps them for themselves.
unless I'm wrong about that, but I don't believe I am.
No, I think, yeah, I think the card's effect, like not the effect, the cost of the flashback, right?
Yeah.
Taps the birds for
And if you have anthems
themselves.
out, like I mean this is a card that can change the turn the tide of the game especially if you have anthems out.
Yeah,
Next
generally.
turn you could be coming at them with like
Couple
four
4/4s or
or
three
four
threes.
fours. Yeah. So Battle Screech is a great card. There's actually man, I gotta find I wish I could remember. I'll look it up and maybe mention it. I'll try to mention it next episode. There was another YouTube channel that was playing a deck called Naya Bombardment. And it was all about getting Battle Screech and Goblin Bombardment work. I think it was mostly a bird deck, but it was like built around Battle Screech and Goblin Bombardment.
Okay.
And Battle Screech is quite good in that too. Like you don't even need to necessarily. He did also have it was a bird deck. It was Shared Triumphs, Battle Screeches, and then some of these other white bird spells. And when he could get the Battle Screech out, it performed really well, really well. Because you can also, when you have bombardment out, you could deal your early damage with your birds and then just generate a bunch of birds and fling them at your opponent to finish things off. Like you don't,
Hmm.
that's some, you get them low enough, you no longer need to worry about their blockers and stuff like that. But it's good for a lot of things. I even played in my white weenie deck for a little while, and I took it out And because I really had it in because I had it in when my deck was mostly shadow creatures. And then I'm like, I don't have any blockers. Sometimes I needed blockers.
Mm,
Like I just needed the ability to hold them off for a turn or two and then swing through with just one shadow creature or something, ping them, but control the board state a little while. And I was like, maybe if I put Battle Screech in, I could generate some blockers, but it was just always a little bit too slow for me. And I had to put in a lot of resources just to get 2/1/1s out most of the time. It just wasn't worth it. They would
yeah.
save me for one turn, function as chump blockers, and then they did nothing.
Yeah, you need something to pump those white birds.
Yeah. And I wasn't running Anthem spells at the time. I was just running Imperial Armor, but now I'm running Anthem spells. So
Oh, okay.
maybe I want to revisit that, at least in the sideboard. Maybe, who knows? But he was running Battle Screech. Great bird card. It's a interesting card in multiple white decks, but it's a great card in bird decks. And probably should be in any bird deck in pre-modern. And then he has one Harsh Mercy, which this is the first time I ever saw this card. It's two colorless, one white sorcery from Onslaught. Each player chooses a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of a type chosen this way. They can't be regenerated. Looks interesting for a tribal deck, but
Yeah.
in practice, I don't think it gets the job done most of the time. And I say this because I've been mox filling this deck a little bit, running it against some of just my general like mid-range decks and stuff. And every time I had Harsh Mercy in my hand to cast, I'd cast it, name Bird, and then the other deck usually just had like one angel out or two beasts out or
Yeah,
something.
two creatures and they have to kill one of them, and
And
then
they were the
you've spade. You've paid 3 mana for a removal. Yeah.
yeah, so it wasn't getting the job done. He doesn't have any swords to plowshares. That's the removal that you would run in pre-modern. I don't know if that's because he didn't have any STPs or I don't know exactly what this deck was built for, but
Yeah.
Harsh Mercy, interesting, but in practice, I don't think it usually gets the job done. And then he's running three portents, and then artifacts, one jinxed idol.
This is like that. I think this is great. This is
Yeah,
like this some flavor in the deck, some spice.
yeah.
Uh, some people might think it's not good enough to make the cut or whatever, but I think this is really fun.
He even mentioned the jinx idol in his article.
Yeah.
I wish I
I
could
think he said that he wouldn't play it now, maybe or something, but
find that. This deck was quite powerful amongst my small play group. When my friends wizened to the fact that I wanted to trade off my creatures in combat, leading to many chump attacks, they shifted strategies. So a lot of times, like you want somebody to block one of your birds. You come in swinging with like four blurs. And
a blur of birds.
if you have a soul catcher's area out, you want them to chump one of them because then it dies and then it gives +1/+1 through the soul catcher's area to all your other birds.
Yeah.
So, they got as soon as they see that happen to them, they're like, okay, whatever, I'll take an extra one. That'll work better for me.
Hmm.
So in this deck, you want to have a way to sacrifice your birds then. You don't want to have to rely on your opponent killing one of your birds to get them into the graveyard when you want them to in the graveyard. You want to have some sort of sacrifice outlet. And that's, he says, where Jinxed Idol and Seaside Haven came into play.
Hmm.
They allowed me to sacrifice my birds directly, pumping the rest of them with Soul Catcher's Airy. It was a thing of brilliance. Jinxed Idol is two colorless artifact. During your upkeep, it deals 2 damage to you. Sacrifice a creature. Target opponent gains control of Jinxed Idol permanently.
Hmm.
So that's nice. You get to sacrifice your bird, put a feather counter on your Soul Catcher's Airy, and then your opponent also gets Jinxed Idol, and it does damage.
Yeah. And maybe you sacrifice the what's it face, the one white bird.
What's it in the who's it's what?
The what's it? You know,
What?
the
Whitebird.
one on the left.
The one
Soul
on the
catcher.
left. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Whenever a creature with flying is put in a graveyard, put a +1.
Oh wait, never mind. No, I said that
Okay.
wrong. Not him.
Maybe you also have Soul Catcher on the board, so then Soul Catcher
Yeah.
also gets a plus
Yeah.
one plus one.
That's yeah. Pay no attention to me. But I like it, and it works as removal too. If
Mm-hmm.
it's on their terms, so they're probably not gonna, you know, use it to their severe disadvantage. But if they start off the game, they're not quite sure what you're playing, they might start spending some of their creatures to get the Jinx idol back on your side, and then you don't
Yeah,
care. Keep doing it.
yeah.
Uh, they're going to lose the war of attrition against your birds.
This is good flavor text. Here.
And it's two colorless, so it's an automatically castable turn two card if you don't have the right mana.
This is a card I imagine contributing to the 63 card count.
Yeah, yeah.
I imagine he was at 60, and then Courier
Right.
Hawk was printed or something.
Yeah.
And then his friend stopped chump blocking his birds. So then he was like, okay, now I'm adding Jinxed Idol, and I'm at 62.
Yeah, I thought it was so fun that I had to try it in there. I know it probably maybe doesn't make the cut ultimately, but it's fun.
It's good spice.
Yeah.
And then enchantments, he has the 4 Soul Catchers every 2 shared Triumph.
Mm.
I think he might have mentioned he only had 2 of these too, so that's why he ran. Lands, islands, plains. This is also, you can tell, like a non-optimized deck. I play with what I have.
Mhm.
Uh, Floodplain, the non-optimal fetch land from Mirage.
I was gonna say the border looked like a Mirage card, but I couldn't see the set symbol in the blur.
And then he ran Abandoned Outpost. Took me a while to figure out what this one was. This is another one I was searching for. It's a land from Odyssey, comes into play tapped. Tap to add white to your mana pool, or tap, sacrifice it, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Okay, so that there's no real reason to play that, right?
Yeah.
In a pre-modern deck. You just
Yeah.
do other stuff.
Lonely Sandbar. Lonely Sandbar comes into play tapped. Tap, add blue to your mana pool, or cycle it for 1 blue.
Okay. It's like cycling lands might be good in this deck because, once you have a few lands down, you can cast almost anything. So subsequent lands would be useless.
That's actually true. Now that I think about it, I have some decks where I just, they're pretty low mana curves and sometimes they kind of peter out, and maybe I would benefit from tossing some cycling lands into those.
Hmm.
Not a bad idea. And then he also runs Seafloor Debris, another card took me a long time to find. Odyssey land. Debris comes into play tapped. Tap, add blue to your mana pool, or tap, sacrifice it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Okay.
So suboptimal mana fixers and just like a 2-color deck. Don't really
Yeah.
probably need that much mana fixing. Cloudcrest Lake, card I've never seen, not pre-modern legal. Tap to add 1 colors to your mana pool, or tap, add white or blue to your mana pool. It doesn't untap during your next untap step.
Okay. So that's nice.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
I would play that in pre-modern if we had it sometimes, maybe.
And actually, when I was looking through cards, I think there might be some cards like this in different color combos that are legal in pre-modern.
Oh,
And I have
really?
to go
Like maybe
back and
just friendly colors or something?
yeah, I have to go back and find that out. I feel like I had that thought yesterday. I was like, oh man, these are good budget options sometimes. Why does anybody play these? I should. Well, the answer is you don't see them because people just buy the better version. But for my current budget, something like this would be nice in certain
Mhm.
decks.
They have nice art too. Kind of nice looking cards.
Hmm. And then he ran Seaside Haven, which is
Yeah.
the Onslaught bird land. This is another way to sacrifice your birds.
Hmm.
Tap to add 1 color to your mana pool, or pay 1 white and 1 blue and tap, sacrifice a bird, draw a card. There you go. So you got Jinxed Idol and Seaside Haven in here as the sack outlets if his friends refuse to chump block his 1/1s because they wisened up. So that was the deck. It's a pretty neat little look back at a kitchen table deck that somebody put together for the pre-modern era, not optimized for a tournament play or anything, just something he played with his buddies. And to finish off the show, I wanted to go a little bit more through the pre-modern bird card pool and just highlight some other birds that I like that are pre-modern legal. I mentioned that Soroya was one of 3 lords. I'm going to talk about the other 2 lords real quick. One is
Okay.
Avon Brigadier. We've talked about this guy in Bird
Yes.
Soldier episode.
Bird
3
soldiers.
colorless, 3 white, 3/5, Bird Soldier, flying. All other birds get +1/+1. All other soldiers get +1/+1. I just like this card. I like the art.
The art's sweet.
The art's really cool. It's just, I can imagine myself freaking out if I opened this from a pack when I was like 14.
Yeah, yeah. You'd be
I
like,
would
oh, I
build
got
this.
something sweet. Yeah.
I would build around this. And I still like it, even though I don't play it. And I will say, not great in pre-modern birds.
I don't have it in.
No.
If it was bird soldiers, I guess maybe
Yes.
it makes the cut because it
Maybe.
gets everything +2/+2. But
Yes.
for 6 mana, there's just like there's a bunch of other stuff you can do for like 4 mana or 3 mana in this deck and just like swarm them.
Too high casting costs, and I say there's not much need for Anthem effects when you have the Airy and or Shared Triumph already
Yeah.
available to you for just 2 mana. You don't need it. Don't need the Anthem. And then there's this one too that he highlighted in his article. Said if he had it available to him, he would have put it in his bird deck. Kengi Airy Keeper.
Oh, okay.
2 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue. 2/2 creature legend. Kicker, 2 colors and X. It's flying. When Kengi Airy Keeper comes into play, if you paid the kicker, put X feather counters on it. All birds get +1/+1 for each feather counter on Kengi Airy Keeper. My thoughts on this, I don't play EDH, but I think this is a beautiful EDH style card. I'd play this
Mm,
in a Commander Singleton deck, but doesn't make my cut for pre-modern birds. It's just
no.
hard to get enough mana to
Yeah, it's
kick
two
this
mana.
above +1/+1. It's like you're not going to get much.
Yeah, you're putting 7 mana at least into casting it, and then you're only
Just
going
to
to
get a
get
+1
one
plus
as
one.
X.
Yeah,
So, you need to be paying 8 or 9 mana to have this do something.
which just isn't going to happen anywhere other than maybe like I'd imagine a casual, fun kitchen table EDH game.
Mhm.
It's pretty sick art though.
Yeah.
It's a cool card. It's cool border. Another one that does make well, this one does make my pre-modern cut, which he didn't mention in his deck. Cloudreach Cavalry. I can't find it here for some reason. I think it's because it's not a bird technically.
Oh, it wasn't printed as a bird
Yes,
or
it's not a bird technically. And
turned into a bird.
it's not a bird. Yeah, it's
Oh,
not a
it's a
bird.
soldier that gets a bonus
Yes,
if you have birds. Yeah.
but I like it.
I looked at this card.
And and I think I run 2 in pre-modern birds, but not more than 2 because it's not a bird. And you don't want to
Yeah. I'm
weaken your
pretty
bird
sure I had
synergy
it
too
in and
much.
then took it out at least for now
Okay.
because I'm just like, the 3/3 flyer for 2 is awesome, but it's not going to get any bigger then.
Not going to get any bigger, but it is a 3/3 for 2. +1, or it's a 1 colorless, 1 white, 1/1 creature soldier. Cloudreach Cavalry gets +2/+2 and has a bird and has flying as long as you control a bird.
Mhm.
So 1 drop, 1/1, next turn, 2 drop, 3/3 fly. That's the dream. But then, of course, if the bird's removed, then this guy's just 1/1 for 2,
Yeah.
and you don't get bird synergy, and you can't sacrifice it to Seaside Haven to draw a card.
So it's like, it seems like a more aggro play to me, like
Yes,
doing this on turn 2 as opposed to like your Stormscape Familiar, which will be building up for like later turns. So yeah, I didn't I think I've taken it out at the moment just because I'm kind of going more in that direction, but
that's reasonable.
definitely worth thinking about. I like it. It's yeah, 3/3 for 2 is great.
My thought is 2 in the deck, but I haven't, played around with it all that much yet.
That seems like a good number.
Another pre-modern bird that I like a lot. I've always liked this one since Visions.
Ah,
Free Wind Falcon, 1 colorless, 1 white, 1/1. Flying protection from red. It's very straightforward, but I give it a sideboard spot simply
yeah,
because of the pro red.
sure, yeah. Be easy to, yeah, use a fair sized chunk of your sideboard just for some different birds with protection from colors.
Hmm. Another strong bird. I think you run this
Ah,
one.
yeah, I put this one in. This one looks fun to me.
Keeper of the Nine Gales. 2 colorless, 1 blue. So I already like the casting cost.
Mhm.
Very, very castable.
Don't have to mess around with any 2 blue.
Just costs 2 if you have familiar. One
Yeah.
colorless, 1 blue. 1/2 flying. That's reasonable. Tap it. Tap 2 untapped birds you control to return target permanent to its owner's hand. The ability to bounce any permanent
Yeah.
is always nice to
Hmm.
have. And for a low casting cost card, and yeah, you have to leave maybe some of your birds untapped so you can't be attacking with everything every turn if you want to be able to activate that ability. But that's a strong ability. You can use it to protect your own. Uh, you can use it to protect your Soul Catcher's Airy. If you're worried about a disenchant or something,
Hmm.
you can use it. Uh, if you have enough birds out, you can swing in with like two 1/1s, and if they have a big flyer out, just keep a few other birds untapped and bounce their blockers. You know, there's all sorts of things you can do with this card.
Yeah. Any permanent is
It's
super
strong.
versatile. I shouldn't have to say, but like,
It's strong.
in blue and white, it gives you some options to deal with things you couldn't otherwise. Uh, you can unsummon their big creatures. Um, and then you have some birds with vigilance available to you, so you can attack with them and then
Oh, that's
still
true.
tap
Yeah,
them, which is
I
nice.
wasn't thinking about it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I talked about a bunch of birds with vigilance. Highlight that. That's good. It's just 3 mana. Just why not?
Mhm. Plus, it's also activated as an instant with no restrictions. It's not a certain type of turn effect. So like you could do stuff like use them as blockers and then tap this and tap them when you're going to be
Before the damage.
sacrificing them as chump blockers anyways. Like make the chump block, tap them, they die, they were going to die anyways, and you get the effect from your keeper.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Can you block and then tap them before the damage, before the deal damage step?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so you could do that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So I give it a slot of Premodern Birds. I put one in.
Mhm.
If somebody want to put more than one in, I wouldn't even say don't. Maybe.
Yeah. One or
Depending
two.
on depending on the style of your deck.
Maybe more. Yeah, maybe more.
Or three, maybe? Who knows? I like this one too. Wasn't in Sigmund's deck. Sky Shroud Condor. It's from Tempest. So it was printed before, he
Huh. I've
was
overlooked this,
available
I
to him.
think, maybe.
One colorless, one blue, 2/2. So I like that. It's already got 2 power, which you don't see with a lot of the 2 casting cost birds. They might all be one something. Flying. You cannot cast Sky Shroud Condor unless you have successfully cast another spell this turn.
Okay. Yeah, not a hard downside in this deck.
Not a hard downside. So I look at this, I say 2/2 flyer for 2 with a downside that's easy to get around. I think it goes in. Again, it depends, I guess, how aggro you want to go.
Yeah, and how much
Um,
blue you want to go, because I
how
think
much blue
I'm
you want to go.
majority white, smaller blue,
Okay.
you know. But yeah, I might look at this again, actually.
This might actually be good for this. I should probably put this in blue skies. Blue
Oh,
skies too.
okay. Yeah.
But I like it. I would say not bad if you're going more. I mean, all bird decks are going to be aggro, but you could be more or less aggro depending on if you're going with the cavalry and maybe this too, to beef up some of the power stats of your low casting cost birds. But I like this. I think it deserves a spot in Premodern Birds. Another interesting one is Raven Familiar.
Yeah.
We're not going to go through all 99. I'm just highlighting like 10 that I thought were pretty cool.
Mhm.
Raven Familiar, 2 colorless, 1 blue, 1/2. Summon Bird, Flying Echo. When Raven Familiar comes into play, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order.
Mhm.
So, some card draw, which is nice. You get to dig a little bit deeper and actually keep one of the cards.
Mhm.
If you don't pay the Echo and you have an Airy out, it feeds the Airy, puts a counter on the Airy.
Right.
So you could just use it. You just cast it to
Yeah.
pay 3 mana to dig a little deeper,
Well,
get a card, and then get all your birds +1/+1.
yeah, and I feel so. I feel like you're not going to want to pay the echo usually. I
Probably
guess
not.
unless you cast it late game when you already
There's just
have
nothing else to
the
do.
anthem effects down, then it's you feel you don't mind paying the the Echo again to get a creature that's going to be 4/5 or something. So yeah, so yeah, I think it. I've kind of waffled on this one. I think I have it in for now. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I was just trying to decide if it's going to be like worth it to like always be casting it without paying the Echo. But I think it does enough. It lets you look at the top couple. It lets you draw a card, and you get you get your Soul Catcher's area effect from it. And then you have the option of keeping it if it's going to be something big.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm also not sure if I'd run it, but I feel like it's worth highlighting and it's a good potential card.
yeah, definitely.
And it gets a lot better if you have an area out. I like the Sawtooth Loon. I don't think you run it in Premodern Birds, but I like the Sawtooth Loon. Sawtooth Loon is from Planeshift.
Yeah, I think this is cool.
Two colorless, one white, one blue, 2/2 flying. When Sawtooth Loon comes into play, draw two cards and put two cards from your hand on the bottom of your library. So already, like, just that's pretty decent for 4 mana. It's
Mhm.
not great. Be better if it was 3 mana, of course.
Mhm.
It's pretty decent for 4 mana. But then it has this gating effect too. When Sawtooth Loon comes into play, return a white or blue creature you control to its owner's hand.
Yeah.
I just like this card. I love enter the battlefield effect creatures, but I say no for Premodern Birds because I just don't think you have enough ETB effects in Premodern Birds
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this to be worthwhile for the format.
Yeah, it's more just a downside in this deck.
Yeah. And then I like the Thieving Magpie as a Premodern Bird too. Although again, probably not going to put it in my
Nice.
probably not going to put it in my Premodern Birds deck. I just like this card. Another 4 mana card. I love the art. Two colorless, two blue, 1/3 flying. Whenever Thieving Magpie deals damage to one of your opponents, you draw a card. It's just I like it, but it's doesn't do enough for 4 mana in an aggressive deck. And Premodern Birds, I feel you could play aggressive, even if you're not going full aggressive. Cavalry and that other 2/2 flyer for two. You still got to play Premodern Birds aggressive. And
Yeah,
this is
I
just
I like this as like an old-timey card that's fun and stuff and has a
mhm,
cool effect, but I feel like you're gonna for 4 mana, it's either gonna get killed or you're just like not gonna be able to attack through with it, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Compared to Somnophore,
I like the art.
the art's great.
I want
Looks
to
like
buy
a
the print.
Audubon guide, like an Audubon painting.
It's Una Fricker, Somnophore.
I wonder if they have any other bird art cards or bird art in general.
Somnophore also four, two colorless, two blue, 2/2 flying. Okay. Whenever it successfully deals damage to a player, tap target creature that player controls. That creature is not tapped during its controller's untap phase as long as Somnophore remains in play.
So Somnophore doesn't have to stay tapped, and
Yeah,
it doesn't have to do combat damage. It just has to do damage. Okay.
that's true.
Um, I tried to build a Somnophore deck, and then I
So
came.
does Thieving Magpie, just deals damage.
Yeah, it's not the same effect. I'm just, comparing the
Yeah.
4 mana blue flyers to each other, I guess. Uh, I tried to build a Somnophore deck, and then I kept taking the Somnophores out in favor of other things, and then I like didn't have any left.
That's a problem sometimes when I try to build a goofy deck around a card and I take
Yeah,
the
it's just
card.
like not good enough.
Also cool art. Not Una Fricker. Andrew Robinson. Okay. Those are the pre-modern birds I wanted to highlight
Cool.
that weren't in Sigmund's deck already. I don't know if you have any pre-modern birds that you would like to highlight, Alex. If not,
Maybe just pull, I haven't looked at my deck in a minute, but just pull it
okay.
up for a second if you want, and I'll.
Okay. I'll pull up Alex's deck. Alex has pre-modern birds brew he's been working on.
Yeah. Not done or anything. Some of the cards in here are just sort of like placeholders to remind me that they exist, and I'm gonna like make a determination later, Uh, I haven't really play tested it or anything, but just some of the. I think I've addressed most of the things in here that I'm thinking about. Oh, sorry, you're gonna have to dig for it, huh? I put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, I know. I pulled it up and we got signed out of Moxfield somehow.
You can search by name,
What's it
maybe. I don't
called?
know.
Remember what
For
it's
the
called?
birds.
Birds? With an exclamation point?
FUR for the birds.
Oh, Fur to Birds.
Or
That's going to be the, I should have remembered
Dirt
that.
birds. Looking for.
Fur to Birds is the, maybe the title of the show, the episode, unless I already used Fur to Birds, unless I already used that as a title for a Bird Soldier
I
episode.
did fur de birds. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so you run a Soraya, which is nice. I would run a Soraya.
Yeah, on the fence a little about it, but I feel like one. Why not? And banding's useful. I just have to remember my banding rules and
The thing about banding is if you go over the banding rules and you actually understand them, your opponents might not
yeah,
remember how it works, and then that works in your benefit and that works in your favor.
yeah. I don't know. How do you want to go through this? I don't care. You can just list them and or whatever.
Let's
But
point out some that we haven't talked about yet.
okay,
Some that I hear. See, so this is actually not a bird.
no, this is my
This
only non-bird, I think.
this is just nice for a Premodern Flyers deck. This is the
Yeah,
top of your mana curve, I'm assuming, in this deck.
yeah,
Radiant Archangel, 3/3 summon legend. You have two of them in here. Flying, Radiant Archangel counts as an angel. Attacking does not cost Radiant to tap. Radiant gets +1/+1 for each creature with flying in play. So this is something they have to get rid of immediately if
yeah.
it hits the board turn 4, turn 5 in
Yeah.
your bird
As
deck.
vigilance gets buffed by my creatures, also gets buffed by their flying creatures. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do one instead of two. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's fun.
It's unexpected. Nobody's going to be expecting that.
And then if they do something that's hurting all my birds or whatever, like that's not a bird, so at least I have
Yes,
some diversification.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have two Kurtars, like we talked about,
Two Kurtar.
two Ishas, two Keeper of the Nine Gales. Uh, could tweak, two Stormscape Familiars. I have four of the one drops, four of the Welkin Hawks. I have two of the Vigilance Bird,
Sky Shroud Falcon.
Shroud Falcon. Yeah. Yeah,
Four of the Soul
four
Catchers.
Soul Catchers, and so that's my bird base, 25 creatures. Um, yeah, then just other stuff like two swords and two mana leaks. Obviously adjustable. Probably go with more swords eventually.
I usually do that if I like every blue-white deck I'm building. I'll usually do like, yeah, I'll start with four swords and two mana leaks, and then I'll just be like, I'll see how it works. So I'll tweak
Yeah,
it
yeah.
based on that.
I have High Ground. I think this is a cool card for the deck. It's a one mana enchantment, one white.
Mm-hmm.
Each of my creatures can block an additional creature. So if I'm sacrificing my birds as chump blockers, I can get, block two things at once with one of them, so I don't have to waste too many birds, or
Yeah,
maybe defensive or whatever, if I need to.
that's a pretty cool card
Yeah, it's one mana. Um,
for a creature horde deck. And
yeah,
all your horde is flying, so they're going to be able to block a lot of stuff,
I can block a lot of stuff with that.
except for shadow stuff.
Two Seal of Cleansings, change it to three or whatever later on, probably. Um, I only have one shared triumph. My thinking was sort of that with four soul catcher Aries, if I start to get a couple shared triumphs in here too, now maybe I'm running into like opening hand where I just have Anthem enchantments and no birds.
Yeah,
Uh, so I don't know. I can tinker with that, but I think I'm going to keep it at one or two for now.
I like it. Yeah, I might go like 1 or 0 because you have your Soul Catcher's Airy, you have your Soraya as another anthem.
Yeah, and that's also what I was thinking. That's the same thing on a stick, and I'd rather maybe
Yeah,
just have the body.
yeah.
You
That
know?
also gives banding. Yeah,
Yeah. And
and then
then
two
lands,
two
just
Seaside Havens.
basic pre-modern lands and some seaside havens.
So that's your bird deck.
Yeah, and you could say, like I would say, mostly white in this. I wanted to get the benefit from the Stormscape familiar. Um, you know, we know
Yeah,
pre-modern, two color, multiple colors issues, but yeah, that's where I'm at for now. I'll play with it and mess around.
and then you got extra spice in here from all the legends.
Hmm.
The Soraya, the two Kirtars, the two Eshas, Keeper of the Nine Gales, I'm kind of surprised it is an legend, but it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's a bird wizard. There was one other bird deck that I wanted to discuss.
Oh wait, do we hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay, keep going.
Can you go back to my I
It's right here. Still pulled up.
feel like we skipped something. Do we skip something?
Esha, Keeper of the
No
Nine Gales.
sorceries in here at all?
Creature. You got no sorceries, Alex.
Oh, okay.
Where's your airborne
Do I
aid?
have a considering at the bottom? Considering
Oh, okay,
section?
probably.
Because
Maybe not.
Battle Screech isn't up and I okay.
Considering Raven Familiar, Cloudreach Cavalry, Cloud Chaser Eagle.
Okay. Yeah, it's more enchantment removal plus a
Yeah,
bird.
there are a couple birds like that. They come into play. They destroy enchantment. I think they're
Yeah.
both forecasting cost, three colors, one white. But that's a reasonable include if you're up against certain enchantment heavy
Yeah.
decks.
Okay, well I guess I don't have Battle Screech in at all, but I probably change that. I think I'm gonna put some in.
What comes out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Shared Triumph, maybe? I don't know. I think I'd remove Shared Triumph, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I need it.
Or maybe one of these.
Yeah, I could probably take out a creature or two. So
Those are the things I think about. Going down to if I had to put something
yeah,
else
I
in, I
don't know.
think
Yeah,
about
I don't know if I
think
need
about
two.
think about going down to one Radiant Archangel or removing the Shared Triumph. Those would be my first two cuts.
Mhm.
And then I'd want to get some play out of this to see how it worked, but it seems
Yeah.
nice. I found another bird deck. I found a bird deck on TC Decks that I want to talk about real quick. This is another way
Yep.
to build a bird deck. This is called Burds! Exclamation point by Quiriongamer. He has 24 creatures, including many that we've highlighted already. He runs 3 Soul Catcher. This is a more of a unique bird deck. I would say it's more control style almost. It is not almost. It is more control style. So 3 Soul Catchers, and then you have 4 Keeper of the Nine Gales.
Okay.
So he's going heavy on, that mechanic, that ability, I should say,
Yeah.
bouncing permanents, his own permanents or his opponent's permanents. And he does have some more permanents in this deck that he might like to bounce. Some of his own permanents he might like to bounce. One being Hunting Moa.
Yeah.
So instead of
That's
just
a
going
good.
white blue, he's gone white blue green. And I think when you were originally playing around with bird decks, you may or may not have had some green or thought about some green in your bird
Yeah,
deck.
well, it's easy to think about birds, and that helps you play a three color. So
So he's going Hunting Moa. It's 2 colors, 1 green, 3/2 Echo. Whenever Moa comes into play or is put into a graveyard from play, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So this has an additive effect if you have the area out. If it goes to the graveyard, you put a +1/+1 counter on something because it's going to the graveyard. Plus you get a +1/+1 counter in the area,
mhm.
right? So that's nice. Uh,
Yeah, I like the hunting mow. I have it in my beast deck, and it's fun. But yeah, with the airy, it makes it even better.
and this is something he might want to bounce back to his own hand with the
Hmm.
Keeper of the Nine Gales. Every time it comes into play, you put a counter somewhere. He's running 2 Commander Esha, 2 Cloudreach Cavalry, which is the 1/1 soldier that gets +2/+2 and flying as long as you control a bird. Cloud Tracer Eagle, which we just saw in Alex's considering section. When it comes into play, destroy target enchantment. Another good target for your Keeper of the Nine Gales, if you want to
Oh yeah, okay.
repetitively destroy enchantments. 4 Birds of Paradise, and then 4 of the 1-drops, Suntail Hawks. And then he runs 3 Battle Screech, 4 Swords of Plowshares, 2 Mox Diamonds, 3 Aries, and then 1 Cataclysm. And I kind of like the Cataclysm in a deck where you have Soul Catcher Airy. Like, okay, Cataclysm. Cataclysm your birds. Cataclysm your birds. If you have a Soul Catcher out, all your other birds go to the graveyard. The other ones that you sacrifice to the Cataclysm put +1/+1s on your Soul
Mm, yeah.
Catcher, and they put +1/+1 feather counters in your Soul Catcher's Airy. So this is kind of a nice way to get he's trying to do the same thing I was trying to do with Cataclysm, Shadow, and uh, Imperial Armor,
Yeah.
right? You Cataclysm, and then you have your big Imperial Armor creature that you swing through with. He just needs Cataclysm, Soul Catcher, and an area out, and all of a sudden he has a giant Soul Catcher to attack with next turn. It's likely going to be a creature that's way bigger than the creature your opponent chose to keep to the
Hmm.
Cataclysm. So I like that at all. I mean, I like that a lot. But it is more of a control style deck. So it's interesting to see this build. You have entered some better the battlefield creatures. He goes heavy on the bird that allows you to bounce permanents. And there's more removal elements here. 4 STPs and then 1 Cataclysm.
Oh, it looks fun. Looks fun. Yeah, I like leaning into the unsummoning of their permanents. Hunting Moe is cool in there. Looks fun.
You have more control elements in the sideboard too. So 2 Parallax
Oh,
Waves, which I like in my White Weenie deck. I bought a Parallax Wave recently and it hasn't arrived yet. But it's going to be maybe a main board, but definitely a sideboard in my white decks. Major Tarot, which is actually a decent sideboard card that we didn't talk about. 3 colors, 1 white, 2/3 flying, Bird Soldier Legend. You pay 3 colors and 2 black, sacrifice it, remove all black creatures from the game,
oh,
which is pretty mana hungry.
yeah.
And there's not a huge amount of black in
Hmm.
pre-modern. So I don't know if I'd put 2 of them in the sideboard, but
Yeah,
it's a
and there's a lot
decent.
of other like, color hate. You could just play
Yeah,
some other white color hate against black.
that's true. 3 Free Wind Falcon in the sideboard, which I'd play in the sideboard. 1 Disenchant.
There's Coast Watcher.
2 Coast Watchers to block green beaters. 1 more Cataclysm. 2 Ray of Revelation. And 2 Absolute Law. All creatures gain protection from red. So you have a sideboard full of protection, creatures, and some additional removal.
Okay.
That's Quiriongamers playing Birds. Okay, Alex. We
Okay,
saw
Steve.
Sigmund's bird deck. We saw old school birds. We saw middle school birds. We saw pre-modern birds. We saw Bignerd's bird deck. That's Alex
Bignerd's
on
Birds.
Moxfield. We saw Quiriongamer's bird deck. I like that handle, Quiriongamer. I don't have much else to say about pre-modern birds at the moment, Alex. If you don't have anything to say about pre-modern birds, we're going to wrap this up. I talked about fried green tomatoes last episode. I do have some fried green tomatoes to make, actually.
Oh,
I
okay,
picked them.
great.
I picked them right before the first frost. They're sitting downstairs. Actually, I'm irritated because I was working late a lot this week and I didn't have time to make the fried green tomatoes during the weekdays, which I expected. And some of the green tomatoes have gone orange. So now I can't fry them as fried green tomatoes anymore. They're not as firm. You can't really slice them and fry them up the same way. But that's really first world problems, man. I shouldn't really be complaining because these are juicy, beautiful heirloom tomatoes that are also really nice, diced up into big fat chunks, along with some balsamic vinegar, some
Okay.
mozzarella cheese, some
Yeah.
avocado, some
Yeah.
olive oil.
I'm a
That's
big
a.
gazpacho fan.
I never bother with that. I just like to eat the. I just like to eat the chunks. I chunk them up,
Hmm.
throw them with some avocado chunks. I said mozzarella. Sometimes I also sprinkle some feta on there because I like them
Oh
cheesy.
yeah, feta's good. Yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't say no to gazpacho. It's just I'm not a soup guy, really.
Hmm.
I don't really ever make soups.
Hmm.
I do like making squash soup, butternut squash soup. That's actually
Okay.
quite nice. But that's pretty much the only soup that I've made probably in the last decade plus of my life.
The gazpacho I like chunky, so like, some
Oh,
of it I'll like blend up, but like I'll also add a lot of like diced up like
okay.
cucumber, tomato, and
What do you make? Do you make the gazpacho with a certain type of tomato?
just nice tomatoes. Just
Just nice
I mean,
tomatoes.
I'm
Okay.
sure someone has a preference, but like, I just try to get good tomatoes, that's all.
Probably. Do you know if it's best with like sauce tomatoes, or it seems like it'd be best with slicing tomatoes?
Yeah,
I feel
maybe.
like a
I'm
slicing
gonna
tomato.
say yeah, but I don't really know.
Okay. But yeah, I got to make these fried green tomatoes before they all go orange and then red. Because that's what happens if you leave the green tomatoes out too long. They ripen Even in the house, it's amazing. You pick them off the vine, they don't rot, they ripen. Put them in a bag, they ripen faster. Put them in the fridge, takes them longer to ripen. That's what I should have done because I really wanted the fried green tomatoes. I should have kept them
Mm.
all in the fridge. What else am I going to do this Sunday? I'm going to finish the work schedule. I made the schedule for November for work last weekend. I forgot to fill in some parts. I have to do that, Alex. I have to finish my laundry. I got clothes in the washing machine right now. I got to transfer them from the washing machine into the dryer.
Don't forget
If
to
you
do that.
sometimes you forget and then they smell musty and then you got
Yep.
to rewash
Wash
them.
them again.
And then you wasted time, you wasted energy, you wasted water. None of this stuff is free.
Our data center overlords will not be happy.
It's wasteful. We need to conserve this energy to generate more AI slop and erotica now that ChatGTP has allowed you to generate pornography essentially. I didn't read the release. Do you know exactly what they said?
No, no.
Okay.
I know nothing about that.
I'd imagine pretty soon they're going to go into allowing people to generate any sort of pornographic video they would want to generate because that seems to be a moneymaker and that's what people care about. They care about making money. And then we're going to start a new business, Alex. Generating pornographic AI videos featuring myself,
Damn
but with
it.
a smaller penis than I actually have because my real penis is distracting them. Anyways,
Anyway,
Alex, we're wrapping up the show. What are we talking about next week? Nobody knows. Haven't figured it out yet. That's not true. I wrote it down. We have a list of like what we're going to talk about the next 5 episodes, but I can't remember. But that's why I write things down because I don't remember shit. But after we're done with the show, I'll consult that list and then we'll start prepping. And then maybe we'll get an episode out within the next month. I hope so. Can't go another month. I don't think we went a month this time. I think we went 3 weeks.
mhm.
I could be unemployed and then I'll have more time. I saw on Reddit today
Let's hope not.
there were furloughs. They were supposedly released on. So I got furloughed from my one job. That's my second job that I don't work very often. I provide surge support, but that money's all federal and they've been furloughed and they might actually shut down the program totally. So I don't think I have the second job anymore, which isn't too big of a deal because I took a short break from that job anyways because I lost vision in my left eye and things weren't going well. So I need to take a little bit of a break. Uh, my current job, I saw on Reddit that furlough letters had been released to uh, supervisors. I don't want to say exactly where I've worked, but they went to different departments. People named certain departments in this post, but I didn't see my department named. But if they're coming for departments around me, then maybe I could be in the crosshairs eventually. I hope not. We provide necessary services to the great people of our state. Necessary. Just so you know. If you're out there like, yeah, cut the government. You don't really know what I do, man. And most of our clients aren't actually government clients. We do a lot of work for private industry in my state. It's very important. I'm not even being sarcastic. I'm being serious.
I know, I believe you.
Everybody walking around being like, yeah, fire these people. I don't do shit. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. RFK Jr. is coming for me. Listen, RFK, I'm trying to be friends, man. I want to win a day of falconry with you. You know? You don't need to be cutting our positions. You don't know what I do. Am I doing gene
You know
therapies?
what I
No.
do.
I'm not doing gene therapies. Come visit the lab. Come see what we do. Don't do that. I'll end up getting in a fight with RFK Jr. if he comes to visit the lab. I'll start some shit. Anyways, I'll talk to you next week, Alex.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye-bye.
I ain't gonna do this anymore. That's all for me. Goodbye.